What it do, cuckolds? It's your boy, the Hater, and it's yet another episode of Hater on the Road, up in this pace, Hater on the Road. So today's video, or today's second video, I should say, is going to be about something that I think is obviously controversial, and I will admit immediately is obviously very unlikely to happen. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to talk about it. The thing in question that I'm speaking of course, is the possibility of Solo Sikoa beating Cody Rhodes. Now, if this happens, this will be the biggest upset in the history of pro wrestling, right? This would be bigger than when Jinder Mahal beat Randy Orton, which, by the way, I predicted when this happened to my friends. I said, this is the moment to pull the trigger. They didn't have this match for no reason. Randy Orton is a boring champion, etc., right? And in my opinion, Jinder Mahal had a great reign. Like, consider this. Imagine if Jinder Mahal didn't have his pretty good and memorable reign, and it was just supplanted by a longer Randy Orton reign, right? Like, who cares? Who would care about this at all, right? Nobody would care, because nobody cares about Randy Orton title reigns, and quite frankly, people haven't for years, right? So, in bringing us back to the situation that's unfolding this upcoming weekend, the reality is, Solo Sikoa does not deserve to be WWE champion. I'm not going to even pretend that that's like a possibility. But the reality is that neither does Cody Rhodes, right? And the truth is that SummerSlam can be saved, and I'm going to be watching specifically, because there's a possibility that the big dog, Roman Reigns, comes back, right? They haven't teased it. They haven't really announced it, obviously, but it could happen, right? Solo Sikoa is talking all this shit. This would be a good time to bring back the big dog. Now, with all that being said, if this happens, what makes more sense? Roman Reigns comes back and goes after Solo Sikoa, or Roman Reigns comes back and goes after the World Heavyweight Championship? I mean, sorry, the WWE Championship, because now we actually have a World Heavyweight Championship that Roman Reigns is never going to wrestle for, because he's quite frankly too big for that. Why not both, right? Why not both? Why not do something unexpected for once and have Cody Rhodes' shit title reign end immediately, right? At SummerSlam. Again, I know this is not going to happen, but in my opinion, this would be a better direction overall. Then Roman Reigns can come back. Then Solo Sikoa can say, I'm the champion now. Acknowledge me. The champion is the tribal chief. Now he has an actual reason to say, I'm better than Roman Reigns. I did what you couldn't do. I beat Cody. Right? You had your bloodline, and they couldn't get it done. I have my guys, and they got it done for me, right? Of course he's going to cheat to win, right? Then you have Roman Reigns. And then you can even have Cody Rhodes win the title again. I don't care. The point is, Roman Reigns' return is the only thing that matters nowadays in pro wrestling, right? Everything else just feels like a placeholder, right? It feels like a bunch of mid-carders are walking around, running around, doing nothing, right? Like I said yesterday, Solo Sikoa, despite the fact that he says he's a tribal chief, still looks and feels like a lackey, right? If the bloodline is going to produce a star, that star is Solo Sikoa. And then Jacob Fatu can be the next Solo Sikoa. And now we can say, oh, wait a second, the same way that Solo Sikoa became champion, now it's in the realm of possibility that Jacob Fatu could become champion as well, right? This would set up a great and epic match between Roman and Solo Sikoa. And quite frankly, if that's the match we're waiting for, you can build that up for months, right? Nobody wants to see Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes again. And sure as shit, nobody wants to see Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes like wrestling with both of the guys' faces. You know what I mean? That's just not entertaining. And worst of all, nobody wants to see Cody Rhodes beat Roman Reigns again, right? So I think this is the way to solve this problem, right? I think they could have done it with Logan Paul. I think that would have, shuffled the deck a little bit, but they didn't. And they're not going to do it here now. Don't get me wrong. I am fully aware, Cucks, and fully aware of what this would require. First and foremost, it would require the unexpectable and unacceptable and unreasonable coronation of Solo Sikoa as the WWE champion. He would be by far the worst WWE champion of all time, right? So that's a big bullet to bite. The only way this works is if you want to transition it to Roman, right? But that needs to be at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns needs to win the title at WrestleMania after winning the Rumble, right? The Rumble needs to be Cena and Roman Reigns at the end, and you don't know who it's going to be, because it's Cena's last match. I would even be okay with that. I'd be okay with Cena winning the Royal Rumble, and main eventing WrestleMania, obviously, right? And getting his 17th title shot. That would be sick, actually. But in order for that to happen, Cena can go and wrestle Damian Priest or Gunther, right? That could be actually a good match. And let's say Gunther becomes champion and holds until WrestleMania. Gunther versus Cena, the heat will be unimaginable, right? But it'll be a moment where it'll be like this passing of the torch, but not really, because Cena already passed the torch to Austin Theory. So, you know, Cena passing the torch means absolutely nothing at this point. So in my opinion, the correct way to book the real world title is obviously to involve Roman Reigns, right? John Cena for his 17th, he can get the shitty one. That's fine. You know what I mean? There'll always be an asterisk next to his name, but the title will be legitimized if Cena wins it, because it's Cena's 17th title, right? So automatically the title gets some prestige that it's not going to get with Gunther wrestling Chad Gable. You know what I'm saying? Now, with all that being said, I understand that this is unlikely. I understand that Solo Sikoa is not going to win, like I've been saying this whole video, cucks. But think about it. This also opens up Cody Rhodes to do other things, like perhaps wrestle once in a while. Maybe then Bo Dallas, who is of a similar stature to Cody Rhodes, can go after him if you want to make Bo Dallas a credible threat, right? If Bo Dallas, let's say, beats Cody Rhodes, then automatically he's made, because Cody Rhodes is the guy right now, right? But if Bo Dallas is wrestling against Chad Gable, then you may as well just fire Bo Dallas now and save yourself the money, right? You'll make some money from the Wyatt 6 t-shirts, but that's about it. This group is not going to draw beyond the initial moment. Once they are exposed as jobbers, no one's going to care anymore. So with that being said, all I'm asking for here is a little bit of short-term storytelling and a little bit of unpredictability. In other words, I'm asking for the two elements that make wrestling what wrestling is, right? Long, drawn-out, 2-year storylines are boring. People lose interest and people don't care, right? Think about that for a second, right? In order to give Cody Rhodes his moment at WrestleMania 40, we had 1 year of meaningless WWE title matches, because everybody knew that if Roman Reigns isn't going to lose to Cody at WrestleMania 39, he sure as shit is not losing to Sami Zayn. You know what I mean? Everybody knew that. And we need to bring back the unpredictability. We need to bring back the scenario where there is a defined and outlined main event scene. In other words, where it's not like if LA Knight wrestles the world champion, it's not like LA Knight has zero chance and we all know it, right? We need to have a situation where LA Knight has, let's say, a 20 or 30% chance, right? A great example of this would be Chris Benoit back in the day. Remember Chris Benoit, motherfucks, that murderous piece of shit? Chris Benoit, for all the things that I say about him, he was like probably the epitome of an upper mid-carder. Benoit was never a main eventer except for his short title run. And then after that, he went to like a mid-carder, not an upper mid-carder, right? But for a while, like during the Attitude Era, after he debuted, he was this upper mid-carder. Yeah, in most pay-per-views, his match was going to be against Angle or Jericho or Guerrero or Rhino or something like that for a mid-card belt. But once in a while, when necessary, you would put Chris Benoit in a title match, right? Kurt Angle's World Championship run, he defended against Benoit. And it was a situation where you thought, oh, Benoit can win this because Benoit has beaten Kurt Angle several times in the past. So it's within the realm of possibility, right? The overprotection of champions makes it so that when the champion wrestles a jobber, there's no chance the champion's losing, right? How great would it have been if Cody Rhodes just lost to Carmelo Hayes, right? How much of a push would that have been for Carmelo? And it would have done nothing for Cody. Nothing. Like, have Carmelo beat him, the next week Cody beats him, right? Boom. And then you can have a third week, he beats him again. But despite this, Carmelo would have been made. Instead, Carmelo lost, and now he's in a meaningless undercard feud with Andrade, right? I understand. You want Cody Rhodes to be your number one guy, and you want to protect him. But that comes at a cost. And this cost needs to be addressed. And this cost, the best way to address it now, especially if Roman Reigns is coming back, is to address it with Solo Sikoa winning. Now I know that's not going to happen, like I said. Probably what is going to happen is Solo Sikoa is going to either get screwed by Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes is going to John Cena him and overcome all the odds, and then Roman Reigns is going to come afterwards and just do something. Maybe not even do anything. Maybe just go there and be like, I'm back. Maybe we'll just have a shirt that says I'm back or something, right? So because of that, because of the complete unpredictability of SmackDown, we find ourselves in a situation where it's like if I knew for a fact that there's no chance that Roman Reigns is coming back, I don't think I'd watch. What am I going to watch? Gunther versus Damian Priest, which is a Raw level match? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see that. You know, I'm going to skip forward to that shit, right? The only thing that makes it semi-interesting is the actual title and the implications of Gunther is not going to be presented as a world heavyweight champion. Beyond that, I don't care. Everything else, completely immaterial to your boy. And I think I speak for a lot of people, Cucks. I'm sure SummerSlam will be a massive success because they're going to say it is. So it doesn't matter if it actually is. They're going to say it is, and that's where we're going to find ourselves. But hopefully, Roman Reigns comes back, cuckolds.